And she's going to kind of talk about some of the Sierra Club, the wildlife issues, as Stephen mentioned. She's going to talk about some of that.
Well, I'll do the best I can. Just to give you a little bit of background on this, I received quite a bit of information, excuse me, over the internet on the stoptheloop.org. I suggest that you go and check that internet website out. It has a lot of good information about how this is actually going to be impacting eastern Oklahoma County environmentally. And that's what I'm going to address. I am liaison to the Sierra Club. I'll be working with them. So if you have any concerns, please let me know. I'm relatively new to the area. I moved out to eastern Oklahoma, about Wilshire, between Wilshire and Britton, and just off of Luther, about 20 years ago. And we stopped the turnpike in 1998. We're hoping to do the same now. There's a lot of my neighbors that have felt the same my way, in having talked to lawyers and talked to Jack Damrell and the manager, Miss Murdoch, for the project. It's pretty depressing because they're pretty much assuming that they're going to get their way through this. And they have been allowed to do that so often because they are a private company. A private company that has no federal restrictions on what they can do to the environment, except where they connect to federal roads or state highways. They do have to consider them the Corps of Engineer 404 regulations when they cross waterways. And that's it, folks. That is absolutely it. And it's not fair. So let me go on with what little bit I've prepared, and there's still a lot out there. I requested last week to have the environmental reconnaissance, they call it, so I could pick that up yesterday, and then I received a phone call that, I'm so sorry, it's not going to be available for you because you have quite a few people in front of you that have requested the information. Now, once you get the information together, don't you think we have the ability to multiply copies and get that out? So it's been a bit frustrating for me. And I started this project because my friends were going to be impacted and because eastern Oklahoma County was going to be impacted, and our way of life. We've moved out there because of the way it is. And now it's on my backyard. So that's life in the big city, but not in eastern Oklahoma County. So let me see what I can talk to you about environmentally. In living out here, I've heard the great horned owl. I've heard the eastern screech owl. I've enjoyed watching the migratory waterfowl as they fly across my property and through the area and land in my ponds. That includes not only Canadian geese, but great blue herons, the white egrets. I also have belted kingfishers that feed and nest in my pond area. I have turtles. You know, the red-eared turtle, what's that? A little thing, but it's there. It's there. It's going to be destroyed by this turnpike because they do not have to worry about where their runoff goes, except during construction. I find that the monarch butterfly has a delicacy in how it moves. I've gazed upon the night skies and seen the stars. Will that still happen? No. The endangered whooping cranes that stop on their migratory trips, both north and south in eastern Oklahoma County. Have you seen them? Have you seen the bobcats? Yes. Yes. I have, and I'd like to continue to enjoy those experiences. While I would like to, even though I don't have children myself, I teach. I want the children of the next generation to have that opportunity, and the following generation, and all the generations going on beyond there. It's not just about now, it's about what is happening to our environment, and can we help to improve its chances. We've already lost the horned lizards. Now, I didn't see him out in my place. I have a lot of the skinks, the blue skinks, which are really cool, but I had a friend tell me that they used to be able to come out to Oklahoma, eastern Oklahoma County, and find the horned lizard and just pick them up, and they were all over the place. I've seen 2 since I moved there.
You don't see them anymore.
Don't see them anymore. Exactly it. What about the wildflowers? Okay, all of this is going to be gone. Now, my mind's filled with a lot of questions. A lot of questions about the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority. They have not published their environmental reconnaissance. What's contained in the report? Will they be cognizant of the concerns in safeguarding the environment of eastern Oklahoma County? I have my doubts too. It's a private business. Remember that. It's a private business. It's not confined to the constraints of federal environmental laws. Only where they intersect with federal projects.
It's wrong.
And that is wrong. They receive no federal grant monies, so that's why they get away from it. If they're a private business, they do not have to follow those same laws. I have some real concerns about what's going to be going on. And this is according to the Oklahoma Department of Environmental Quality. Were you aware that we already, in central Oklahoma, that includes Oklahoma City area and all of eastern Oklahoma County, that we have elevated levels of arsenic, chromium, selenium, and uranium for drinking water wells all across the central Oklahoma aquifer. That is our major source of drinking water for central Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma City has lakes also, but that's not what we have out there. We already, in the aquifer itself, occasionally exceed the federal drinking water standards for each of these chemicals that I listed. There's high concentrates that already exist in the shallow and deep wells out in Oklahoma, eastern Oklahoma County. Public water supplies are being tested, but did you know that they are not required to test your private wells? But the Oklahoma Department of Environmental Quality is giving you a discount on their testing rates, so you will get it tested because of their concerns. That's something to really think about. The chemicals can cause, among other things, kidney damage, skin disorders, irritation of stomach, intestines, and lungs, neurological disturbances, and cancer, among other things. Now, where does this water come from that goes into the aquifer? It's from the major water bodies, and it's from runoff. Runoff that comes off the roads. Runoff that will come off of the turnpike. Heavy runoff takes non-point pollutants and degrades the quality of ground and surface water. They have the same chemicals already that will come off in those pollutant runoff waters that already exist in high levels in our aquifer. What's going to happen when there's more? Because of the traffic, because of the pavement, because of the oils and everything that's left on the turnpike surface. In addition, you're going to have lead, copper, and zinc. You're going to have chlorides that are due to salt applications during the winter. You'll have sulfur that's due to the de-icing agents. This impact of the runoff, the pollutants that are coming into our waterways, into our aquifer, our drinking waters, will gradually degrade all waters as the contaminants percolate downward. The aquifers are the most sensitive form of water that we have. Going on from the water, we have also wetlands that they will be crossing with the turnpike. We have ponds, as have been spoken to already, that feed the wildlife around. We have creek beds that follow and fill our ponds. So what's going to happen to all that water? What's going to happen with the contaminants there? What about the air pollution? What about the sound pollution, the light pollution that comes with a turnpike? Sure, they've been telling us, oh, we'll put up sound impact walls. You know, that'll take care of everything. Oh, you don't want lights there? That's great. That's what they tell you individually. But I haven't had much luck trusting what the OTA's done.
That's right.
So what's going to happen? That air pollution, anyone that is living, working, or attending school near major roads, and this is federally researched, that's within 1,000 feet of the road, has higher concentrations of air pollutants with increased incidence and severity of asthma and the aggravants of asthma. Think of all our children. Cardiovascular disease, impaired lung development in children, preterm and low birth weight in infants, child leukemia, autism. That's an addition. Autism now. And premature death. What are we doing for our coming generations?
We're building turnpikes. That's right.
That's what they want to do. Now, you've got to think about the wetlands that are there. All the water going in there, they're helping with any kind of flooding that we have. What happens when those are degraded? Also, this area, even through Oklahoma City, but especially in eastern Oklahoma County, is called cross timbers. It is the gateway from forest to the prairie, and it's a transition from the eastern forest to the western prairies. It spreads across central Oklahoma into Kansas and south into Texas. It's so dense that it proved difficult for the pioneers to travel through. I have a lot of that on my land. It dulls saw chain blades very quickly, and it breaks those blades up also. And it's low. It's not a tall forest. It's low. But it's there for a reason. Think about the possums. The possums, not the cats, but the possums that are around. The birds that live in it. The other wildlife that lives in there. The flora that grows underneath there. All of this will be impacted. Why? Because it has no commercial value. Let's just cut it down. Doesn't matter. But that's why we've moved out there. That's why eastern Oklahoma is what it is and where it is. We even have sizable tracts of old growth, post oak and blackjack oak, with trees as old as 400 years old. Is that what we want to do to the environment? It's very sensitive to change. All of our environment, anymore especially, has become so tense. We need some help back there. I think we might need some medical help. We might have somebody that has passed out. I'm going to bring this to a close because I found that the OTA has not lived up to their side of the deal. They have plans to go through the open land that we have in eastern Oklahoma County. Oh, we have not just impacted anything but 100 buildings or less. Why? Because they're going through the open lands. The open lands, they are there for a reason. All of that will be impacted. They are secretive. They do not give out the information about meetings that are happening. They disqualify how many people do show up to the meetings.
Hold on.
They have put out false information, and they want you to feel good about it. Think about what it's going to do to the environment. It will not increase your property values, especially if you are along the turnpike pathway. So let's hope and let's pray for the best and do the best that we can. Do not sit on the sidelines. Be part of something. Be part of making this a wonderful Eastern Oklahoma county. Thank you.
Our next speaker is a Eastern Oklahoma County homeowner who is being impacted by the turnpike. It's my pleasure to introduce Paul Crouch.
Thank you, John, and thank you all the citizens of Eastern Oklahoma County and everyone who came out to support this today, because I'm going to tell you something right now. You can't envision this, but once that gigantic megaton piece of concrete is in front of your house and in front of your property, it goes through, it's there. There's no takebacks. So it is my honor and privilege to be able to stand before you here this morning. I'm so thankful for the opportunity. A couple years ago, I'll give you a little bit of background about me. I am a 24-year Air Force veteran. I've been in about every piece of desert that you can speak of. I was a veteran of Desert Shield, Desert Storm. I am a veteran of the Iraq War. I have seen things. So I come back here and find out that I've finally been able to raise enough money to build our first home. Build our first home. We don't get to build homes when you live in the desert. We don't get to build homes and have property and land and good places to live, clean air, all those things. We don't have that, but we fight for it. We fight for it so you can have it. So for 24 years I did just that. And we built our first home 2 years ago at 44th and Luther. We're the South Side guys. So I'm out there and I find out that the turnpike is planned to be less than a half mile right in front of my house. That's all I will see is concrete. All I will hear is noise. All I will see is trucks. I will see people going away from Oklahoma and not stopping to enjoy Oklahoma. So I'm here to enjoy Oklahoma. I love Oklahoma scenery. I love fresh air. I love country living. And when that thing gets here, if we don't stop it, there'll be a concrete jungle in front of my house for the rest of my days. This is a very bad idea. So I want to go on further here to let you guys know that I've contacted all of my state representatives that I voted for to get into office. I've contacted the governor of our great state. I've contacted the lieutenant governor of our great state with my concerns. The governor did not respond, period. She never returned any emails. She never returned any calls. Guess what wisdom the lieutenant governor had for me? He said, "That's too big for me. You'll have to take that up with the OTA." Oh, really? Are you freaking kidding me? Don't lay that on me. I'm better than that. So he had his secretary call me, though. He didn't even talk to me in person. He had his secretary to return his call to tell me that I needed to take that up with the OTA. I will tell you this. Who the heck is in charge of Oklahoma? The OTA? I think not. That's not who I voted for. I didn't see their names on any ballot. I didn't see OTA's name on any ballot. Rest assured, I will examine the ballot much closer in all future elections. You can count on that. I hope you will do the same. This is us. We are Okies. We fight hard. We play fair, but we fight hard. So get ready, OTA. Get ready, Governor. Get ready, Lieutenant Governor. Get ready, state representatives. You know what really got in my craw? To coin an Oklahoma phrase, this really got in my craw. One of my representatives finally called me, and we spoke for about an hour on the phone, and he told me that I was naive to believe that change will never happen in our community and that the view from my front door would always stay the same. To that I say this: I know it will change, but I was hoping to have some input. I was hoping to have a voice as to how it would change and when it would change. I think all Oklahomans would like to have a voice in how our state develops and grows. But I'm learning the hard way that when it comes to Oklahoma Turnpikes, a private enterprise, that we as Oklahoma citizens currently have no voice. We need to fix this. We need to get rid of OTA. And we need to get rid of every person that we voted for that is not standing out here with us right now to get this thing stopped. I'm going to tell you something right now, and this is old. You guys have heard this, but there's an old saying that says absolute power corrupts absolutely. And we are involved in the absolute most corrupted situation that can be known right now, because this affects our lives. This affects our livelihood. So, supporters of the Turnpike, they tout that this will be an economic boon for our area, and our area will soon resemble classy cities like Dallas and Phoenix. Listen to this. Had I wanted to live in Dallas or Phoenix, I had options. I would have moved there, but I didn't, so I don't. I can't help it if Dallas and Phoenix have screwed up, and they're overpopulated, and they're extremely difficult to drive in, and due to all the concrete and the construction, I can't help that. I can't help it if Dallas and Phoenix are crime-ridden, drug-infested, and have increasing troubles with basic utility infrastructure. I can't help that. But I can help this. I'll tell you that. I can tell you this right now. I am an Okie, and I believe in the Oklahoma way of life. A life that the OTA is trying to take away and destroy. OTA, stay out of our lives. OTA, stay out of our yards. OTA, stay off of our property. Now, I got some wisdom for them. If you want to live like someone from Dallas or Phoenix, then pack your gear and get gone. You go get. I'll tell you what, I look out here right now and I love every one of you. If nothing else comes out of this, we have all made new friends. I'll tell you that right now. Friends and neighbors, and we're sticking together. I'm going to leave you with a couple of thoughts, okay? And I want you to really listen to this. I'm going to talk loud because I want you to hear it. All of my life, I have seen and heard about some convicted felon who's on death row. The felon is scheduled to be executed at midnight. It's 5 minutes to midnight. The felon is strapped into the chair of death. There are two things that everyone in the room are watching. You've seen it. They're watching the clock and the phone. They watch the clock and the phone in anticipation of a call. That anticipated call can only come from one person, the governor. The governor of the state is the only person that can stop this felon from being executed. That's supreme power. Now it's us, citizens of Eastern Oklahoma County. We're in the death chair. Our way of life is about to be executed. Everyone is watching the clock and the phone. The clock and the phone. Governor Fallon, we need you to make that call and stop this execution. You know what? We're not felons. We're law-abiding Oklahoma citizens. We've done nothing wrong. We pay our taxes. We're innocent. You're right. We play fair. We believe in that. We do our duty. And now we need you to do yours, Governor Fallon. You need to save us from our way of life, our homes, and our land. Please stand up for us as we've stood up for you. The Eastern Oklahoma County Turnpike Loop is a very bad idea, Governor Fallon. You know what? I want to just give you just a couple more bits of wisdom. And this is things I've heard from talking to you. I've heard people say, you know what? I will never drive on another Oklahoma Turnpike. I'm surrendering my pike pass. I will drive 100 miles out of my way if I have to, if it means, because you know what happens when you take Oklahoma Turnpike? You're paying for the next one. You're paying for the next one. So I've heard people say, that's what I'm going to do. I've also heard people say that, you know what? There are businesses, banks, insurance companies, all kinds of restaurants and things like that in my town that are supporting this turnpike. You know what? I don't have to eat there. I don't have to bank there. I don't have to buy insurance from there. I do not have to support them because trust me, Oklahomans, when you do, you're paying for the turnpike. So that's a bad idea. Okay, I want to tell you this. I hope you know that if you think that land grabbing at any cost is a new idea, I'm about to share something with you that'll make you think again. Big money and government taking land from its citizens has gone on from the beginning of time. I want you to listen intently to me on this story that was written a very long time ago. As a matter of fact, it was written in the year 550 BC before Christ. There was a vineyard, some property, near King Ahab's palace in Samaria. A man from Jezreel named Naboth owned it. One day the king Ahab said to Naboth, "Give me your vineyard, give me your property that is near my palace. I want to make a vegetable garden out of it. I will give you a better vineyard and property in its place, or if you prefer, I will pay you for it." Naboth answered, "By the Lord, I will never give my land to you. This land belongs to my family." So Ahab went home angry and upset because Naboth told him, "I will not give you my family's land." Ahab went to bed. He turned away and pouted, and everyone he refused to eat. His wife, Jezebel, went to him and asked him, "Why are you upset? Why do you refuse to eat?" Ahab answered, "I asked Naboth from Jezreel to give me his land. I told him I'd pay him the full price, or if he preferred, I would give him another vineyard, but he refused to give it to me." Jezebel answered, "But you're the king. Get out of bed, eat something, and you'll feel better. I'll get Naboth's property for you." Then Jezebel wrote some letters, signed King Ahab's name to them, and used his seal to seal the letters. Then she sent them to the elders and the important men who lived in the same town as Naboth. This is what the letters said. "Announce that there will be a day of fasting when people will eat nothing. Then call the people to the town together for a meeting. At the meeting we will talk about Naboth. Find some men who will tell lies about Naboth. They should say that they heard Naboth speaking against the king and against God. Then take Naboth out of the city and kill him with stones." So the elders and the important men of Jezreel obeyed the command. They did exactly that. They put Naboth in a special place before the people. Then two men told lies about him, and so the people carried Naboth out of the city and they killed him with stones. Then the leaders sent a message to Jezebel that said, "Naboth has been killed." When Jezebel heard this, she said to Ahab, "Naboth is dead. Now you can go take the vineyard that you wanted." So Ahab went into the vineyard and he took it for his own. I read you this story, and that's not the end of the story. I encourage you to go read 1 Kings chapter 21 and see there's a consequence for taking people's property.
That's right.
I believe that there are parallels, definite parallels in this story, and I can tell you who the modern day Naboth is. It's us. They want our property. They want our way of life. They want us out, but we want in. I can't tell you. I think that you need to go back and read it, and you're going to find out who Ahab is in this story. You're going to find out who all the people who tell the lies are and have us removed. You'll find that out. You can determine that for yourself. I encourage you to go home and read the rest of the story and how it turned out. And I want to thank you, Oklahomans, Eastern Oklahomans, for letting me speak today. I'm honored beyond anything I can describe. One more word, lest I forget. Governor Fallon, it's 5 minutes to midnight. Hey, I've been asked to tell you that we get our time here ends at noon. Congress is in session till 1. You should go see them.
Thank you, Paul.